Hi, everybody. I'm meteorologist Jonathan Myers. Your latest Weather Authority update for Tropical Storm Isaias. It looks like it's going to be affecting us late tonight into Tuesday and during the day on Tuesday all the way into Tuesday afternoon. 3 to 6 inches of rain, moderate flooding, perhaps gusty winds. And actually, the wind estimates have come up with some trees down, maybe some power outages. Even coastal flood watches out for the Chesapeake Bay shoreline. Could even see some flooding, potentially add some storm surge. 1 to 3 feet of storm surge. That could add 2 to 3 feet of water onto high tides along the bay, and also 1 to 3 feet of storm surge along the Delaware and Maryland coastline. And this is all, again, compliments of Tropical Storm Isaias. Tropical storm warning now for the entire area. So that's something new since the last update I gave you. Everybody stands a chance of seeing some tropical storm force winds here in Baltimore also and surrounding areas. Flash flood watch in effect, that 3 to 6 inches of rainfall possible. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the future scan, time things out. Now, by 3:45 this afternoon, we're seeing a risk of a shower or thunderstorm, but better risks come by about, say, 5:45 p.m. Baltimore south and east, there's actually a marginal risk of severe weather, potentially, again, some heavy rainers with some gusty winds through about 7:45 or so in the evening. And then during the overnight hours tonight, that's when Isaias starts coming at us here with some heavy rain at 5:45 a.m. And this squally weather that's coming in, that's where we could start seeing some of those wind gusts right around and just after daybreak tomorrow. Winds here in Baltimore, 35 to 45 with gusts to 60. South and east of the city, including places like Annapolis and the Eastern Shore, could be 45 to 55 sustained with some gusts up to about 70 and maybe even almost 75 miles an hour across portions of the Eastern Shore. Look at all that red coming through. That is a lot of rain tomorrow morning through lunchtime. But about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, beginning to pull away, and 5 o'clock pretty much gone. But in terms of rainfall totals, could be an excessive amount of rainfall. Look at this, 3 to 6 inches of rain. And here across the heart of our area, actually some localized amounts could be 6 to 8 inches of rain. So places like Ellicott City, we're going to have to watch low-lying areas that typically flood even just during thunderstorms. Going to have to watch those as well for potentially some flooding. Want to make sure your catch basins, your storm drains, those are all cleaned out and ready to go. 85 degrees for today. Some scattered storms with a marginal risk of severe weather from Baltimore City south and east. Again, some gusty winds, heavy rain. Heavy rains come in tonight, late night, with some scattered showers and storms becoming more numerous toward morning. Isaias' rains come in big for tomorrow with wind and rain, 79 degrees. Again, there could even be some trees and limbs that come down, maybe some damage to some signs, etc., especially as you near the water and then down onto the Eastern Shore. So 79 tomorrow, and then this stuff ends by Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening. We're up to 85. Partial sun, isolated afternoon storm for Wednesday, then just kind of plain old summertime into the rest of the week and next weekend. For the very latest on Isaias, that is, and also your latest forecast, keep it right here on foxbaltimore.com or tune into Fox 45 News.
Preparations already taking place from Baltimore to the Eastern Shore as the possibility that Maryland will see the impact grows. Fox 45's Dan Lamparello shows us what's being done to prevent major flooding and outages.
The beach in Ocean City busy this weekend, but in less than 2 days, Maryland's coastal communities will be bracing for Isaias.
You always hope for the best, but of course we have to be prepared for the worst.
Chris Gardner is with the Army Corps of Engineers, which has activated its Emergency Operations Center.
We're working closely with our partners there.
The storm has left behind major flood and wind damage across the Caribbean and parts of Florida. And as it creeps closer to Maryland, the Corps hopes the preparation they've taken will reduce the impact, especially in Ocean City.
So what most people don't realize is that the beach itself is actually designed to reduce risk to the community from coastal storms.
In Baltimore City, flooding remains a concern with the heavy rain Isaias is expected to bring to the region, especially after recent smaller storms flooded out major roads across the city, leaving cars submerged.
When these storms come through, they can create a large issue very quickly.
This week, the Department of Public Works will be cleaning out storm drains and is asking residents to help, saying trash and other debris could be causing many of their flooding issues.
Even a small blockage, even a small thing can restrict it and can cause flooding to increase and become much more difficult.
But no matter how hard Isaias hits our area, being prepared will be key.
We need to be prepared.
And a flash flood watch as Isaias makes its way up the East Coast. This is a live look at Wrightsville Beach in North Carolina. The storm is about 200 miles away, and still look at those waves and dark clouds. Right now, the storm is expected to make landfall tonight near Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. This is a look at what those waves look like near the Georgia coast earlier today, and some rainfall there. Again, right now, we are directly in the storm's path. Fox 45 bringing you team coverage of how our area is preparing. We have crews spread out across the area, both on the coast and on the bay. But of course, we start with Chief Meteorologist Vitas Reed. Vitas, when is the storm going to hit us, and how much damage are we expecting?
Well, it's going to be a major impact across the area, but the real problem is that we're already seeing the first line of rain that's just to the south of us, and there's actually some heavy rain in southern Maryland that's making its way up and moving into the Chesapeake Bay south of Easton, and this is going to be the first wave that's going to give us some decent downpours as we go through the next couple of hours here, and then that's going to be saturating the ground. So we're looking at that first pretty good line, and we have some severe thunderstorm warnings that are popping up with this, with gusty winds, lots of lightning, even some tornado warnings over Virginia that were earlier. So we're going to get some heavy rain from that first band, and still we have to wait for the actual precipitation that's associated with Isaias as it continues to move up from the south as we get into tomorrow morning. Talking about what's going on out in the tropics, we're looking at Isaias right here making its way up, and as we continue to watch another one following that, 40% chance for another storm forming. That's something we have to watch very closely. So Isaias is going to continue to move north, traveling right now at about 13 miles per hour, winds at 70 miles per hour, forecasted to maybe become a Category 1 hurricane before it makes landfall near Myrtle Beach and then move up into North Carolina. Wind gusts up to about 80 to 85 miles per hour. Looking at the coastal radar, we can see those rain bands that are wrapping in, getting pretty heavy into Charleston. And as that moves up to up towards Wilmington, North Carolina, we'll start to see that move north, heading up I-95, giving us the impact of heavy rain, storm surge, heavy amounts of flooding potentially across the area, and those tropical storm force winds that will be building in here late overnight and really into tomorrow morning.
Maxine, yeah, we're live here in Easton, just over the Chesapeake Bridge down Route 50. And, you know, we're going to be covering all the way over to the eastern shore as Isaias moves its way here. But on this side of the Chesapeake, you can see out here, there are some boats out on the water today, but kind of quiet right now. One of those first bands that Vitas was talking about just moments ago in his weather forecast actually just moved its way through here. We had a pretty big downpour, some bolts of lightning out here as well, but still pretty calm for what we're expecting compared to tomorrow, when we could see some of that coastal flooding out here. One of the marinas here in Easton, you can see there's still some boats still in the water out here, but the concern is that storm surge that could possibly be coming with this storm, as well as the flooding. This area of Easton on this side of the eastern shore is under that red evacuation zone if that is necessary. So make sure you're checking online with the Emergency Management Agency where you live, if you know what zone you live in, just because we don't know what could be expected tomorrow and if evacuations could be ordered. But right now, still out here, pretty quiet, a little rain right now, but we're going to continue to follow this throughout the day as we make our way to Ocean City later tonight. For now, though, we're live in Easton. Dan Lamparello, Fox 45 News.
Dan and Maxine, thank you both. Well, as the storm approaches, Maryland's Emergency Management Agency urging people to begin preparing now for a possible evacuation. Officials say you should check to see if you work or live in an evacuation zone. Dan was just talking about it. Maryland has this interactive color-coded map. We put a link to it on our website, foxbaltimore.com.